In today's video, I'm going to show you how to fix a hole in drywall. This hole was caused by the doorknob. When the door is opened too far, it goes right through the wall. Then what should have happened, there should be a door stop, such like a little piece of metal or springy thing that comes out about 3 or 4 inches. Or if you have a cap, that works too. So what we're going to do is take a piece of drywall and we're going to patch it into this hole here. So probably I'll take a piece of wood, we'll put it in back for a backer, drywall on the top, and then we'll mud it on over. And then of course we'll put a door stop at the bottom when we're all done. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes, and I'll show you how to patch a hole in the wall. So I'm going to fix this hole, of course. So what I'm going to do is I got myself a little box. This is probably 5 or 6 inches squares, just granola bars come into it. I'll lay this over the hole, then I'll take my marker and then I'll go around the outside of the box. That gives me a hole that I need to cut. Then I'll take my X-Acto knife and I'll just cut out what I just did. Then I will take a board, and I'm going to put the board in here and in the other side, and then we'll put a couple drywall screws right through the drywall to hold the board on. And then I will take my box again, mark it onto my scrap piece of drywall, cut it out, and then it will fit exactly over the hole. Couple drywall screws holding it against the board. Then I will use my tape, drywall tape, and I can put that around the crack. And then finally I'll use paste to put over my drywall paste to put over the top, and we can sand it, smooth it, and then it'll be all fixed. So I'll just show you a few pictures, maybe a little video while this is going on. So as you see, I now have the hole cut out in the wall. The vapor barrier in back had a small rip in it, so I've added some red tape, so that should keep it well sealed. I've added a foot-long board that's about 3 inches wide behind the drywall, couple drywall screws holding it in. Now when I put my new piece of drywall in this spot, it'll have a good backing. And if the doorknob ever hits this spot again, instead of busting through the drywall, it'll just hit this, and at the worst, it'll just leave a little ding in the drywall. So I'm going to cut out the next square piece of drywall that I need on my scrap piece, and then I'll come back. Piece of drywall, or from my scrap piece, it's basically the same size as the hole that I made. I put it in, and now I've screwed a screw or drywall screw through this into my board in the back. So now that is super solid. I will take some of my drywall paste, and we'll start putting the tape around the corners, and then from there obviously we'll put the paste to make it nice and smooth so you can't tell. So once I get the drywall tape on, I'll show you that. So to put the tape on, put the drywall paste around, cut a piece that's 1 inch or so longer than the hole that you're covering, and you're just going to put it down. You can use your thing here, and remember, the more putty you put down, the more cleanup you're going to have later on. So that's one. I've squeezed it in fairly tight. I'll put another one across the top, and there, and then I'll show you when that's done. And now finally the last piece. So I've put some drywall paste over the 2 strips that I've already done. This will fit on there and there. Then you take your scraper thing, swoop it down nicely so it's all in there good. And now we're going to have to let this dry for a while. And then when we come back, we're going to have to put lots more paste on this. So don't be afraid to use the paste. Just keep it fairly smooth so there'll be a lot less sanding later on. And already we got the whole patch, but like I said, it still has a ways to go. So I'm just going to put a little bit up in there, so just so it's all covered. This is a little bit of a hollow space, so we'll have to build that out a little bit. And then in time we'll go way over there, all the way here to there. So when I'm ready to put more paste on, I'll come back. So the second coat of drywall paste is now done. The original opening is about here, 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 and here. So it's still rough in the middle, of course, but this is just a second coat. The next coat that I do on top of that will cover this again, and we'll probably do at least another couple more coats. And so now the hole has become about a foot wide, and originally it was only about 8 inches. So nice big coverage. Time you're done, it'll hopefully be as smooth as your drywall. So I'll show you on the next coat when I get it done. So I've now put on the drywall mud putty stuff, plaster stuff, whatever it's called, 3 or 4 times, and I've just finished sanding it for the first time, and it looks pretty good. But what I'm going to do, and you can see it's still a bit dusty, what I'm going to do is take the putty again and put a very thin, I'll just wipe it over here, and any low spots will now show up. Another way you could do this, if you put a very thin layer of paint over this area, you could give it a sanding, and then let's say if this spot here was a low spot, it would still show the paint color. So you would paint it like, let's say a yellow or something. So most of it would sand off because obviously it's all the same, but if there's a low spot, that little bit of yellow would show. So I'm going to just do sort of the same thing, except for I'll just run the putty knife back and forth with a little bit of paste on it. And if there is a low spot, that spot will stay. So when I get that on and maybe sand it, then it's after that it's ready to paint. It may be hard to see, but what I'm doing here is I'm putting a very thin layer of paste or drywall paste on this opening. I haven't done this yet, and I haven't done this corner yet, but I'll put it over the whole thing, and then tomorrow I'll sand it. So if there is any low spots, this will fill it in, and any of the even spots or high spots will be sanded off. So just sort of the same thing if you were just going to put a layer of paint over it and sand it. This is what I'm doing with the drywall paste.